Shalom, Salawam, peace. Welcome, welcome, Saints. Shalaki. It's your brother Math. I acquire first name. My Q is all the same. You've reached DSTM. Don't shoot the messenger. Episode 130. It's a manna Monday. Who's ready to eat? It's manna Monday. That manna, yeah, that rains from heaven that sustained the children of Israel while they were in the wilderness, while our ancestors was in the wilderness, right? So, in like manner, I want to rain down some more manna on my brothers and sisters out there to keep you sustained in this particular wilderness that we're experiencing here in the wilderness of North America and wherever you may be, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Salute to the 12 tribes of Israel. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh Shai, before I begin. Um, Secondly, you know the routine, man. Y'all came to the house. Did you wipe your feet? I got to make sure that you wiped your feet before you came in, man. Show some respect. Show some respect, man. Act like you've been here before. All right? Hit the like button, man. Let's get the algorithms kicking. Got a few stories, man, I want to run through. The gambit with y'all today. Slow Biden is taking another L, man. He tried to go over to Saudi Arabia, try to create an alliance with them to help to persuade them to start pumping some more oil to reduce the energy crisis and the gas crisis throughout the earth. And you know what? Ishmael gave him the middle finger and said, "Man, we riding with Putin. Get up out of here, Slow Biden." So Ishmael, man, Saudi Arabia has made their allegiances known that they're going to be siding with Russia when it's all said and done. Europe is going to be facing major collapse within the coming months as their borders have been completely ramshacked with migrants that's coming from the Middle East and coming from Africa due to the hunger and due to the struggle to survive. Bottom line, the famine. They're invading and they're going into European countries now, man, and overwhelming. Some of these European countries. I showed a video a couple weeks ago, man, of these African cats, man. They was coming from North Africa and various places in, I believe, in Central Africa, invading into Spain, and it looked like The Walking Dead. And once they got in, I showed another clip of them, man. All of them walking around, throwing up gang signs, shirtless, and all of them was men raiding into, these predominantly Edomite European countries and villages, man. So they're going to be dealing with a whole lot of hell in Europe, man, as the organized collapse of the world is happening right before our eyes. And as we know, it's all about building a new world order. So you have to collapse and break down the old in order to build up the new. This is all planned. Let's be clear. All right. Also got another story about China, man. China, they're having violent protests out there in China because of the economic collapse that's happening over there, man. People were trying to protest and get to the banks to get their life savings out. And they were met with violence by Chinese authorities and police and told them, get up out of here. You're not getting your money. So imagine that and know that that's how the games play. When we see those particular instances happen in other countries, know that it can and will happen here. Just see what happened when they performed that social experiment in Canada last Friday. And ironically, which we talked about in times past, the cyber polygon of the so-called white man and their organized chaos of dealing with cyber attacks was last year, July 8th. And they said that they were going to be running a number of different cyber attack drills or whatnot. And shortly after that, we started noticing a bunch of different services going down from, I believe Amazon went down. Shoot, you name it. There was a bunch of different apps and things that went down from October, November. Some of y'all maybe remember some of those DSTM episodes that I did, man. We was chronicling all of these services that was going down for certain amounts of time. And ironically, July 8th, Canada has a complete collapse of their banking system and Debit system, cell phone system went down for 15 hours. We saw that, right? July 8th, 2022, July 8th, 2021, the cyber polygon was announced. And if you remember, I don't remember what episode it was, but I went onto the cyber polygon website and they scrubbed and deleted the whole thing. But if you see any, if you archive some of the DSTMs, I went over it when they did have it on the website that they were going to be doing cyber attacks or whatnot. It was on their website. I covered it, showed it, and then months later went back on there to show y'all again, and they deleted everything. Imagine that. So we've got China, man, shutting down people's accounts, restricting them from receiving their life savings because they're running out of cash over there. They're having a cash shortage because of the economic collapse that's happening. And then we also got another a party official in Brazil was murdered. And we just covered last weekend, the last DSTM, episode 129. Brazil is fearful that their next political election is going to result in a January 6th type episode or worse. All right. So let's get to the business at hand, man. Let's get to the business at hand. I'm not going to hold y'all too long. Let me share my screen, man. Let's start here. Man. We made mention about slow Biden, and let me get this ad about the way, and we'll see here, man. Joe Biden's oil gamble set to backfire as Saudi Arabia sticks with Russia. Oh, so remember, I've been saying for a while, man. All of the nations are lining themselves up with who and which side they're going to stand on when the SHTF hits the fan. You understand? So now Saudi Arabia has aligned themselves with Russia, which is going to make them a continued opposition of America. Okay? So let's read this. Let's read it. President Joe Biden's attempt to lower rising oil prices and convincing Saudi Arabia to increase production looks set to fail as Saudi officials have indicated the country is not willing to abandon its oil production alliance with Russia, which Washington has claimed is part of the reason for sky-high fuel costs. They're saying that's the reason, part of the reason for sky-high fuel costs, right? But they managed to make sure that they took oil out, took 5 million oil reserves and sent them to Europe and gave some to China. Meanwhile, our prices are continually skyrocketed. But it's Putin's fault. It's Putin's fault. You leave it to slow Biden. Reading on, it says Biden will begin his Middle East trip this week in his first trip to the region since taking office. Starting in Israel and the occupied West Bank, he will end his trip in Saudi Arabia. Biden has said that the trip will advance American interests by focusing on the global trade and supply chains the U.S. relies on. Many countries in the West, including the U.S., want Saudi Arabia to produce more oil to help mitigate the growing global energy crisis that was ignited by the Ukraine war. More production will also punish Russia, a major oil exporter, by bringing global prices down. Well, listen, they've already made their acknowledgement. Remember, not too long ago, the Saudi prince wasn't even answering slow Biden's calls. So now he's going over there, going to go brown nose and thinking that he can go over there and manipulate Ishmael, right? But Ishmael ain't stupid. Ishmael knows where his bread is buttered at. Ishmael knows if he's going to trust the devil, he might as well trust the devil he knows and not the one he doesn't. Nobody likes slow Biden, man. Scriptures even tell us that. Most High said he made Esau the lowest of the heathen, man. I don't know why I always struggle with spelling ecclesiastical. Good Lord. There I go again. Salakia. I'm going to get it one day. One of these days. Hey, come on now. I thought that was it. Ecclesiasticus. Is that not right? Good Lord. All right. So, always utilizing this scripture right here, man. Sirach 13:6. If he have needed thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou? Slow Biden man and the so-called white man got the gift of gab. They always got that silver tongue and that forked tongue wagging in somebody's face, offering to give give them allegiances and give them fake treaties and rights and brokerage deals. Ishmael's done with the lies. Ishmael is done with the lies, man. Like I said, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. They've already made allegiances with Russia. They've already had a long-standing relationship as it pertains to uh, oil exchanges and whatnot. They're not getting ready to go sell out and go mess with go mess with the gray horde, man. That's out. All right, so we can see there that ain't nobody messing with slow Biden, man. And as Israel should already know, don't fall for the okie doke, man. Dealing with this cat, man, and with his policies and his politics and all of the propaganda that he utilizes with his media, social media, with the with the fake news and everything else, right? So here we go. Sirach 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for as like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness, man. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. That's why Ishmael is like, hold on, man. Slow Biden's coming over there crouching and begging, trying to persuade them, hey, you better stay away from Russia, man. It's going to be bad for them. It's going to be bad for you. It's bad for business. You can be kind of like a hero by stepping up and producing more oil. And, I'll give you all the credit and, I'll make sure that you look good in the press. And Ishmael's like, man, get the hell out of here. We don't need it. I mean, hell, didn't the Most High say that Ishmael's blessing, he said he was going to bless the 12 princes of Ishmael, man. They was going to receive blessings and rewards. So they're not tripping about that. It ain't about money for them. They got plenty of bread. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away, man. So he's going to always be revealed, man. He's going to be see-through, man. That's why when you stay on point, when you stay discerning and dealing with this heathen and dealing with the so-called white man and dealing with his lies and dealing with his deceit, you can't drop your guard. You got to always be on point dealing with it, man. So, Ishmael is dealing with slow Biden accordingly. Okay, so Saudi Arabia now is lining themselves up with Russia. So when this World War III thing cracks off, man, you know what side Ishmael is going to stand on. Iran is already over there as well. Okay, look at this. Europe faces a huge surge in migration from Middle East and Africa due to food crisis created by war in Ukraine, the EU warns. Around 20 million tons of grain are currently blocked in Ukrainian ports. Food prices have rocketed, which could fuel a migration wave towards Europe. Putin has been accused of deliberately weaponizing food supplies. So they're saying could be. We've already seen that they are. We've already seen them migrating. Okay. Europe is facing a huge migration wave from the Middle East and Africa because of the food crisis aggravated by the war in Ukraine. The EU has warned. They were already migrating over to Europe from the Middle East after the Afghanistan withdrawal. They was migrating from there after all the various wars that's going on in Africa or whatnot. So it ain't just because of the Ukrainian crisis. They're happening even more because of the food shortages that's happened. No question. But see, that's what happens when NATO and the EU and America stood on their sanctions, knowing what it would do to the rest of the world. If you're talking about Ukraine and Russia being the breadbasket of the world, and now you're telling Russia, we're cutting you off, we're sanctioning you so that you can't, basically survive in world economics anymore. Well, guess what? They had their hands so far entrenched in world economics, you cut off the legs of a lot of people who were dependent on them. So now when you start seeing these particular collapses of countries in Europe, America, Central America, South America, Asia, it's organized chaos, man. White man knows what he's doing. He's doing all this purposefully so that he can come on in and act like he's the savior when he brings in this, global reset, if you understand what I mean. Ukraine is one of the biggest grain exporters in the world. But production and dispatch have been severely affected by Putin's barbaric invasion. Oh, Around 20 million tons of grain from last year's harvest are blocking the Ukrainian ports on the Black Sea. We've seen even here in the States, the number of uh, so-called migrants that's came from various countries, South America, Central America, Mexico. You know, they're waiting for slow Biden, man, to open up the door, man, begging them to come on in. You understand? And they're doing the same things over there in Europe because the white man's acting like, you know, I'm your savior, I'm your prince, man. Come on over here, I'll give you what you need. So look at this. While Ukrainian refugees were being handled well, we have to prepare also for refugees coming from other areas because of the food security. See, they had no problem when it was some white folks. Oh, but let the niggas from Africa come on over. Let the sand niggas from the Middle East. Oh, it's a problem when they just got to bringing in 2 million people from a quote unquote humanitarian crisis. I believe it's over 2 million now. Ukrainian refugees. Remember when they came down to the border here in America, they was rolling out the red carpet. They was bringing them to the front of the line. They was expediting their paperwork. They was pushing back the Haitians. They was pushing back the Mexicans and the Guatemalans and the El Salvadorians that's been down there for months on end. They were pushing back the ones who were being sex trafficked and disappeared. You know, the ones risking their lives, paying their life savings to get over here in America so they can ride over here in 110 and 115 degree truck and die. They're taking those chances, and the white man come over here from Ukraine and gets pushed right to the front of the line. So here they're saying, oh, while the Ukrainian refugees, they're being called refugees, not migrants, as if these cats that's coming from the Middle East and coming from Africa aren't coming from war-torn countries, economically debilitated countries, countries with food shortages. Why are they not be considered refugees? And I'm just speaking in general, just off a principle of righteousness. They don't have to just be Israel. Some of them cats that's coming from Africa are Israel. Some might be coming from the Middle East, might be Israel. If we're scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, I won't negate that. But the thing is, we see the hypocrisy that's going on with this whole thing, man. They're being called refugees, because of the war and because of humanitarian efforts, but the rest are being called migrants and immigrants and aliens. You understand? So we have to prepare also for refugees coming from other areas because of food security. The interim executive director of the Frontex agency, Aja Kalnaje, said. She noted in particular that grain transport from Ukraine is hampered and that that will create waves of migration. Well, we knew that coming in, man. We knew that coming in because of the dependency, how heavily the Middle East and Africa was dependent upon the grains that was coming from the Ukraine. They already knew that was going to happen, man. Did they try to create any type of subsidized food programs or backup food storage plans for them? No. But they can sure send $44 billion to the Ukrainians to make sure that they're eating, make sure they got their weapons, make sure that they're taken care of over there, right? I mean, what happened? If we're talking about, NATO and America supposed to be protecting the world, and this is big old humanitarian effort, man, people are dying, children are dying. Didn't we just get to reading about how many children in North Africa is going to die over this old plague? We're talking about over 300 million people are planned to be dead within the next year because of starvation. And after starvation, disease. But they ain't batting an eye at that. Shows you the hypocrisy, man, and the wickedness that the so-called white man has for our people, let alone for the heathen, man. That's why the heathen is raging. Look at Obadiah. Look at this. Obadiah 1. It says, the vision of Obadiah, thus said the Lord Yahweh. Concerning Edom, we have heard a rumor from the Most High Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. See, the so-called white man is a heathen. but he's the smallest and most despised amongst all of them. And all the other nations hate him as well. You're talking about the damn Arabs don't like him, the Chinese don't like him, the Japanese don't like him. And you said, well, they're allies. Well, guess what? You think that they great grandmothers and grandfathers, man, they got hit with that damn Hiroshima bomb, really love America, or they just playing politics because America gave them reparations? You know, the Africans don't like the so-called white man. He's colonized the whole earth, man. He's greatly despised. That's why, we're seeing what's going on. And this is why all the nations is saying, well, you know what? We're just going to go over there and take every damn thing. Move over Greece, move over Russia. I mean, not necessarily Russia. Move over Spain, move over Germany, the UK, the Netherlands. We coming. You see? So, he's greatly despised amongst his fellow heathens. Let me get back over here. So we're going to be seeing a lot of articles, man, coming up out of Europe, I'm sure, within the coming months, as we see a collapse of the countries over there because of the food crisis, the famine. You're going to see escalation of violence. You're going to see, a whole lot of extra protests going on because, them them Edomites over there, man, they're not going to like it. They're not trying to share. And, them heathen over there, man, coming from the Middle East and everywhere, they coming over there, they're going to, start raping and ravaging the place that they don't get what they want. You understand? So that's what's going to be happening over there pretty soon. So that only is going to lead to more uproars of the people, more global collapse, and more end time prophecies as we move forward. All right. So let's keep an eye on that. Look at this, man. I thought this was wild, but it's always something to keep in mind because, as the scriptures let us know in Sirach, the 5th chapter, and we're going to read the 15th verse. It says, be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small. So ignorance is never bliss, right? We got to make sure that we're paying attention to everything because when you see something like this, China crushes mass protests by bank depositors demanding their life savings back. That's why when you hear some economists, you see people saying, man, take your monies out the bank. They ain't doing nothing but utilizing your money to create loans and get interest payments and this, that, and the third. And you barely getting any money back when these savings accounts and whatnot. And now it's really not yours because they don't have the money to back up when if everybody mass goes to the bank and says, we want to take our money out, they will not let you do that. That will completely collapse the banking system. They don't even have the money on hand to do that. Look at this. And that's what's happening in China. They having a cash crisis going on over there. People saying, man, let me get my damn money up out of there before it's too late. Banks is turning them back saying no. And now people is out there protesting saying, give me my money. And Chinese authorities went out there and sent the policemen and everybody else violently turning everybody away. Unbelievable. Chinese authorities on Sunday violently dispersed a peaceful protest by hundreds of depositors who sought in vain to demand their life savings back from banks that have run into a deepening cash crisis. So here we go, talking about a complete financial collapse. China's supposed to be doing well. Well, what's going on over there? Why are they talking about having cash crises? Why are they out there hoarding gold? Because we're seeing here that all global economies is hitting the skids. Okay. Since April, 4 rural banks in China's central Henan province have frozen millions of dollars worth of deposits, threatening the livelihoods of hundreds of thousands of customers in an economy already battered by draconian DVOC lockdowns. So, they just locked down they just had another lockdown with millions of people, man. Remember, they just came off of a lockdown a couple months ago where they had people locked in the house. They couldn't even leave. They was, bolting people's doors, man. I seen videos of them welding doors. They were telling people, man, you could only go out like twice every other day or something like that, 2 times a week. The food rations were pretty much pretty much out of there by the time you had your turn to go to the store, man. The stores have been ravaged. And now people are saying, well, let me get my money up out of there. And the Chinese are saying, nope, you can't get your money, man. And then we seeing Canada pulling this trick, you know, where you can't make no payments, you can't go to the bank, your cards ain't working, everything up. This is all, psych warfare, man. How they got people, uh, dealing with these particular crises, man. They just trying to see how people are gonna react. So you want to go out there and peacefully protest, they react violently. Ask the gooks, man. You see what happened. Anguish depositors have staged several demonstrations in the city of Zhangzhou, in the principal capital of Henan, over the past 2 months, but their demands have invariably fallen on deaf ears. On Sunday, more than 1,000 depositors from across China gathered outside the Zhangzhou branch of the country's central bank, the People's Bank of China. The People's Bank, huh? Oh, it's the People's Bank? No, it's not the People's Bank. It's not your money. To launch their largest protest yet, more than half a dozen protesters told CNN. And Slow Biden just went and sent them and gave them some more damn oil. See, on one note, they want to talk about the Chinese, what do they call them? CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, man, the commies. The enemies. The damn wicked gooks over there. But meanwhile, man, they're making backdoor deals, man, falling in love with China, man. Even though they see how China's operating, that's because they're in the back pockets of America, man. They're running the test systems so that America can follow suit. The Chinese got their people under lock and key submission. America would love that if they could have the same control over us as they do in China, but that's why they want to get rid of them guns. That's the last thing that they can hold us up. You could already see, man, they don't really care about that Constitution like that anymore. But there's still some grace that the Most High is allowing for his. I'm calling it for his children to get their act together, right? Shout out to what's the name? IUIC. I seen somebody sent me a video earlier, man, of them winning that case against the damn bootleg church, man, to try to file a restraining order against them. So, that's where you see the grace of the Lord, man, is still resting upon the men of the Most High to continually do the work, and the laws of the land protecting the saints of the Lord, man. So, America's still being protected by the children of Israel being here. It's been like that throughout history, man. Every place that the children of Israel been in captivity, that nation was on top, man. Ask the Babylonians, ask the Greeks, ask the Persians and the Medes, ask the Romans, ask America. Everywhere that the children of Israel, ask Egypt. Everywhere the children of Israel has been in captivity, that nation was a leading nation throughout the earth, man. So, by us being here brings a blessing to the nation, and we're going to have to capitalize off of that while we're here. So China don't have that opportunity, but they're definitely being used as a beta test for America to try to do the same thing eventually in the future. That's what they want. The demonstration is among the largest China has seen since the pandemic, with domestic travel limited by various DVOG restrictions on the movement. Last month, Zhangzhou authorities even resorted to tampering with the country's digital DVOG health code system to restrict the movements of depositors and thwart their planned protest, sparking a nationwide outcry. Did you hear that? They tampered with the digital DVOG health code. You remember that same thing that they put on everybody's phones? Your contact tracing, telling you where you can and can't go. That particular, I want to say something, but it's Revelation 13 associated, part of the system, tracking apps. Well, now they can restrict your movements by what? What they say? Tampered with the system. Purposefully telling you, oops, you've been exposed. Oops, you can't go here. Oh, you can't go over there because there's been people that's been exposed to the D-Rock, and it's all lies. But it was all done because they wanted to make sure they can control the migration of the people, right? So this is what they do, and this is how they operate. Okay, this is how they operate. I'm gonna stop with that one. One more before I go. You heard the little alarm, man. I gotta keep it moving. Just like we talked about before, we're seeing anarchy. We're seeing uprests and uprises of the people politically, socially, economically. I showed y'all all of the particular protests that's happened just in this year alone. Collectively, there's been like over 200 over the last. I forgot how many years span it was, but most of these protests is all built around economics, government, food crisis, so forth and so on, man. The world is going to hell in a handbasket, man, fast, and it's already on fire. So now Brazil, we just seen the article last DSTM episode 129, where they're concerned that their next election is going to create an uproar like America's January 6th. Actually, they feel worse, because of the political corruption that's going on down there. But look at this. Brazil party official shot dead as pre-election political violence escalates. See, they already getting turned up out there. We just seen the former prime minister of Japan. He just got smoked. You see that? See, the people now are not giving a damn. But that's scriptural too. That's scriptural too. 2 Ezra 15. Look at this. 2 Ezra 15:16. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men." But what's sedition? Maybe we should look that up. Maybe that'll help us understand how severe it is and why these things keep happening throughout the earth. Maybe we can see why actually they charge Yahushua with the same charge, right? Look at it. Sedition, conduct or language inciting rebellion against the authority of a state. Insurrection or rebellion, a factious commotion in a state. The stirring up of such a commotion, incitement of discontent against government. What? Incitement of discontent against government, disturbance of public tranquility, as by inflammatory speeches or writings or acts of language tending to breach of public order, as to stir up a sedition, a speech, a pamphlet, abounding sedition. So is it making it a little bit more clear now why we're seeing all these particular protests? Is it becoming more clear why we're seeing uproars of the people? There's sedition that's happening throughout the world. Conduct or language inciting rebellion against the authority of a state. Huh? And now we see, for there shall be sedition amongst men. So are we not seeing people rebelling against authority, rebelling against governments, rebelling against said systems in place? And invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. This is the second assassination that we've seen within the last 7 days. One, a former prime minister, and the only reason why he's not prime minister of Japan prior to his death is because of health issues. He voluntarily stepped down, but he was beloved amongst Japan. He'd still be running Japan right now if he didn't have health issues. Shinzo Abe. Okay. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So look, Marcelo Arruda, supporter of Brazilian former President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, killed by an alleged supporter of Brazilian President Bolsonaro at his birthday party in Foz do Iguaçu, Sao Paulo. A local official from Brazil's leftist opposition Workers' Party was shot dead on Saturday by a federal prison guard shouting support for right-wing president Jair Bolsonaro, according to the state law enforcement and a witness. Marcelo Arruda, a municipal guard and PT official, was celebrating his birthday party in southern Brazil city of des Iguacu in the state of Parana when George Jose de Rocha Guarano entered the event and shot him dead. According to a statement from Parana's public security office, Arruda and Guarano had a disagreement at the birthday party, which resulted in both men being shot. Arruda died while Guarano was in intensive care, the statement said. So here we are. The course of their action standing in their hands, sedition amongst men, man. You know, they're already talking about how violent it's going to be, man. If the cast that's trying to back him up, the former president and the new president, they got beef like that, that's what's going on the earth right now, y'all. You see it here. You witnessed it. It's DSTM, man. Episode 130, all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, man. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off there, man. Hopefully this video finds you well. And you've wiped your feet, man. You pay respects. If not, make sure you do so on your way out, man. Do your brother that solid. All right. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High while you have a shy. Make sure that you continually fear the Most High. Keep the commandments. And don't ever shoot your messenger.